It's a Saturday showdown. Anyone fancy some hot laps around Interlagos? It's qualifying day here for the Sao Paulo Grand Prix.
All set, we're ready to go, so let's get the car out onto the track. Confirmed, we'll receive you at the end of this lap. Okay, we've only got one lap of fuel remaining.
for sprint qualifying. Plenty more coming up over the rest of the weekend, so we'll see you all tomorrow. Forget pit stops, forget fuel management. It's pedal to the metal all the way here as we get ready for today's sprint. It's an unusual anti-clockwise race here at Interlagos, where the Sao Paulo locals are packed into the grandstands at each of the 15 corners around this classic 2.7-mile circuit. Two very fast sections bookend the famous and highly technical Sector 2, where getting a good run out of Junsao into one of the two DRS zones will be key to any overtaking prospects today. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. Surfer Girl lines up on pole position, and Lando Norris lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Verstappen, Leclerc, George Russell and Tsunoda, Albon, Antonelli, Behrman and Oscar Piastri, Jackson, Gasly, Esteban Ocon and Sainz, Hamilton, Mayer, Gabriel Bortoleto and Lance Stroll, Colapinto, Doohan, Hulkenberg and Isaac Hadjar rounds off the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head trackside for today's sprint. And alongside me today, former Formula One driver and former world champion too. See, told you I'll give you a big intro. Anthony Davidson, hello. Let's look at their season, and particularly against their teammate. Fair to say, they've got the better of them more often than not.
Yeah, they have. And it's, rule number one, beat your teammate. They're the one that share the same equipment as you. And yes, the cars can vary and set up from race to race and depending on who has which style. But essentially, they're your barometer, the yardstick. If you can beat them, that's the first job you have to do. And it looks like it's going their way, doesn't it? And they need to carry on this momentum, this energy through the rest of the season.
Here we go then, the formation lap is underway ahead of today's sprint. We're almost ready to start the sprint as the cars take their positions on the grid, with the drivers and teams making their final preparations.
DRS now enabled. DRS enabled. Use your overtake button more. It's time to utilise some of this energy. Come on. Push, push. Gap to your teammate behind, 13.3 seconds. Verstappen's behind. They're on fresh softs. And the time last lap, 1 minute 13.8. Their tyres are 5 laps old. Okay, the car behind has front wing damage. Front wing damage. This is our opportunity.
I call that simply lovely.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Well, that's an end to the sprint action. Next up, we'll set the grid for the Grand Prix. So we'll see you next time. It's a Saturday showdown. Anyone fancy some hot laps around Interlagos? It's qualifying day here for the Sao Paulo Grand Prix.
Okay, that's all the checks complete. We're ready to go. last lap then. Come into the pits at the end of this lap. Okay, Antonelli behind.
Formula One returns to Interlagos once again with the stage set for what promises to be another classic Sao Paulo Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel famously clinched his third championship here in 2012, and just 4 years later, Max Verstappen treated us to one of the finest wet weather drives of all time. Interlagos, always a very special race here in Brazil. It's a 2.7 mile circuit with 9 left turns and 6 right turns for a total of 15 corners. It's a wet one today as well, so grip and visibility will be at a premium, and the drivers will need to be careful coming up the hill in Sector 3, the scene of many an accident over the years. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. What a great lap from Alexander Albon yesterday. He'll start from pole position, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Russell, Leclerc, Esteban Ocon and Verstappen, Antonelli, Piastri, Hamilton and Carlos Sainz, Behrman, Jackson, Surfer Girl and Stroll, Tsunoda, Gasly, Nico Hulkenberg and Gabriel Bortoleto, Colapinto, Maya, Hadja and Jack Doohan rounds off the grid. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. And alongside me today, a man small in stature but big on comment, Anthony Davidson. Hello. And let's talk momentum with this driver. What a sprint it was. They start at 0 once again for today, but with a huge amount of confidence, surely. Well, they'll definitely be glad that there's not a sprint race today. Let's face it, the sprint couldn't have gone much worse, but what we're looking for today is a reaction. Interlagos, always one of my favourite weekends of the season. Love Brazil, adore this track.
Absolutely spot on, Crofty. I wish you could pick this circuit up and place it, copy-pasted on multiple different locations around the planet, because it is sensational to watch, sensational to drive, and for all these drivers here in Brazil, it's a great time to get stuck into this Interlagos circuit. It's an anti-clockwise track, lots of important corners to get right, and it's a track where you can make or lose an awful lot of lap time.
then, the formation lap is underway. These are wet conditions here today. Each driver will no doubt be mindful of the wet surface as they prepare to race around the track. We're almost ready to start the race as the cars take their positions on the grid, with the drivers and teams making their final preparations.
Okay, 25 laps of fuel left, 25 laps. Okay, DRS is now available. We'll be seeing at least 20 minutes of light rain. Okay, dries seem like the best tyre for now. Let's use overtake and burn off some of this energy. And you've got P7, 7th place. Our gap to first place, 6.0 seconds. It's Verstappen ahead. Okay, the gap is less than a second. They're on a fresh set of inters. Piastri's behind. They're on a fresh set of inters. Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound. All right, 16 laps to go. stay with us for at least 20 minutes, maybe more. Light rain is here to stay. Okay, as things stand, we're going to be 5th in the championship. Just a reminder, mate, temperatures are vital for tyre wear, so try to keep them green, please. Looks like it's probably about time we change tyres. It's a bit of a crossover period for sure, but the longer we stay, the worse it's going to get. Okay, so this light rain is going to be with us for a while now. Dries definitely seem like the fastest tyre at the moment. Okay, gap to the car in front, 6.1 seconds. That's Hamilton behind. They're on a fresh Okay, the car behind's catching you at a rate of about 2 seconds a lap. Be aware. think you can get past, make use of the overtake button and see what you can do. Sit tight, the marshals are on their way.
Well, it's certainly been an incredible year for Formula One, and our drivers have all pushed themselves this season, making it one of the most compelling years of racing in history. There can only be one champion, however, and here they are now, our new Formula One World Drivers' Champion. Here's the checkered flag. The fans rise to their feet. It's Lando Norris for victory.
Well, they showed true grit out there today, Crofty. A steely determination not to be outdone by the rough circumstances at many points that came their way today. A job well done, not the easiest of days, but they walk away with a race victory.
Well, it's been a long wait for many of our drivers, but the wait is always worth it. Bring them out to the awaiting crowd. It's time for our podium celebrations. He holds the trophy aloft, and why shouldn't he? A richly deserved win today for Lando Norris. Well, that was certainly an exciting weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for more exciting Formula One action very soon.